To the Executive Dean of Engineering, Professor Maurice Ndege, the Operations Manager of VUT, FSSEC, Mr. Heinrich van der Merwe, to Mrs. Melanie Gajiavella of the French Embassy, to Mrs. Zanel Dalglish from Schneider Electric SA, to Mr. Wiseman Jack, who is Executive Director, International Relations and Advancement, to our distinguished guests, parents and students, I want to say good morning. Good morning. Sanbonani, Dumelang, Dumachironi, More. I think it's good today that we have met in this wonderful auditorium, and we are witnessing the wonderful occasion today. I mustn't forget, to also greet our director for the FSSEC Center, Professor Alex Sebastiani, and we are pleased to serve under his leadership. Without any further waste of time, I have a couple of speakers that will address us this morning. As you see, they look good, don't they? Can you give them a round of applause? It's your day today as students to pay attention to what they have to say, because I believe this will be a great send-off for you as our dear students. I believe that they have something very wonderful to say. So without any further waste of time, I'm going to request the Professor Maurice Ndege, to welcome all of us here. Over to you, Professor Ndege.
Program Director, Hendrik Langer, Mrs. Malan Gracia-Villa from the French Embassy, Mrs. Zanella Douglas from Schneider Electric, South Africa, co-directors of Schneider Electric program, executive directors and deans from VUT, parents, students who are going to graduate, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. Mine is going to be a very simple task, just welcoming people. So you must be wondering what is the difference between what I'm going to say and what the program director has said. Now you'll see the difference in the course of the time. This is our official second graduation, but in real fact it's the third one. One was done without official ceremony. I come here on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of Valle University of Technology. She sent her very warm welcome to the students. So I'm going to pass her message to you. But also, as the Dean of Engineering, I also have a message for you. So there are going to be two things. One from the Vice Chancellor. And the Vice Chancellor's message is very clear and short. Welcome to VUT. When you finish this project or this thing, you are welcome to come and join us. In other words, you are still on the way to come and become full mainstream students of VUT. Don't forget that. So this is not the end. This is just a journey continuing. So she says, please welcome, but as you come to study. That is not my message. That's the message from the Vice Chancellor. As you come to study. The fees must fall issue is too big for VUT to solve. It's a national issue. So when you come to VUT, it's for studying and nothing more. You come study and then leave to go and join citizens to build the nation. In other words, you go to job, you go to work, you go and pay tax just like us. When you will see your tax that you are paying, you expect it to be used properly, isn't it? You don't want other students to ban it. Do you want? No. So she says, when you come, be prepared to come and study. That is her message. Now, in the process of welcoming you, I thought of something, because you actually belong to my faculty, where I'm the head, the Faculty of Engineering. Professor Alexander Sebastiano has been preparing you for the future, and his colleagues. They're not preparing you for their future, but for your future. So what have you learned out of the preparation? What have you learned out of the preparation? I hope you did learn something that is going to help you improve your lives. I hope you realize that you have come from a background of uncertainty, and you are being given a chance to make it. In other words, you are almost thinking that you have got no future, but here you are. You've got a future. So try to utilize that occasion. The French embassy and Schneider did not have to come and help us. We owe them nothing. Do we owe them anything? We owe them nothing. But they came all this way, missing their friends, their families where they are, their relatives, just to come and assist you have a future. Please don't forget that. That future is what builds and bonds us together as friends. The northern friends and the southern friends. It bonds us together because we have one task, is to mold you so that you can also play a very vital role in the development of the world. So do not forget that. They have sacrificed quite a lot to try to bring you to where you are at the moment. All that you need to do now that your eyes have been opened is to try to navigate to get to where you want to go. We don't know where each one of you wants to go, but you are given a chance. You are given a chance, an opportunity to try to be somebody in life. When you come and join the university mainstream, there are tasks, there are subjects, but you'll find it a little easier because you've gone through this certificate program. Those who are coming for an electrical, you'll find it a little bit easier when it comes to practicals, when it comes to understanding how the theory is connected to what you have been doing. So you are also at an advantage. You are advantaged because somebody comes from matric and you coming to the mainstream will be two different people. You know why you want to be there. They come there thinking that they are going to be like this. They don't know. But you already have some feelings. So do realize that you have an advantage over the others who are coming from the matric. And utilize it. It is important for you to understand that your parents who are almost losing hope in you have been rejuvenated. They have come to understand that, oh, so my son or my daughter can be somebody. When you go home after this ceremony, thank them for giving you that chance and being always there to support you. Now, with what you have, you cannot tell me you can be on the streets because you should be able to do at least something to be able to earn some money and to be yourself. We're looking at trying to enroll this program beyond just what you are seeing. But this is not for me to talk about because I know it's going to be rolled over the whole of South Africa according to what Professor Sebastiano talked to me about. So you are given a chance. You're the first ones who have been given this chance in the whole of South Africa. So you are actually the leaders in the program. So watch the space. There are very many things coming that you, as electrical technicians, will be able to do. You will help the engineers. Factories are coming. Nuclear engineering programs are coming. Railway engineering programs are coming. Aircraft engineering is coming. So all those parts have got some part of electrical engineering that you can be able to fit in. Do you understand me? So I want you to have a bigger picture of the scenario that you, with what you have, can be able to fit in a lot of things. That is what I wanted to pass to you as my welcoming message. Remember, you are a part of the VUT alumni too when you leave. When you go home, look also around and see those students or those people who need help. Pass the message to them that life is not useless. You are somebody, given a chance, you will make it. And try, if you've been good enough, I am sure you'll bring the person along to be a candidate also for a similar program. Don't you think that will be good for you? Such that we try to eliminate poverty in our communities. When I talk of poverty, I'm not talking of poverty of the stomach only. There's also poverty of the mind. To me, this one is more challenging than that one. Because if the poverty of the mind is there, then you will not know how to feed this one. So when you go, with all you have, try to show them. The pictures you will take, go show your friends, Tell them, look, even you could also make a difference. Let's forget this sorty life. Let's come out of it. Let's try to improve our community. Let us try to see what we can do for the nation. Don't ask yourself, what's the government going to do for you? You are the government. What are you going to do to improve the nation? With all those few words, thank you very much, Program Director. You are all welcome. I'm looking forward to exchanging a few words with you after you have finished your graduation. Thank you.
Can we give Professor Ndege another round of applause, please? Thank you. I think that was a mouthful, you know, and educative. Prof, I must say, of the few weeks I have been in the center, I have been quite impressed. So, once again, Professor Alex, I think, has done a great job. Let's give him a round of applause. Just like Prof said, you are the nucleus. Starting here, going forward, you are the nucleus. Now, let me call upon Mr. Wiseman Jack to share the background of the program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Program Director. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocol observed. Personally, I don't like going through the names. I once worked for the Office of the Premier somewhere. Sometimes before you start talking, you spend 10 minutes trying to observe all that protocol where everybody have already observed it. And we only have very few minutes to talk to you. Well, they say a journey of 1,000 miles begin with only one step. You know, I'm really asked to talk more about that first step and why is it important today. I'm sure you heard from my title that I'm responsible for international relations and advancement. Most people don't understand the advancement part of things. But what I do is to ensure that we have collaborations with various people from various countries. And really, when we look back at the days when this process started, you know, we didn't know what will come out of it, except what we wrote on paper. Because remember, you can write anything on paper, but what comes out at the end is a totally different thing. And I'm sure you heard from Professor Ndege saying that this is the third graduation or certificate ceremony. In terms of academic protocol, we're supposed to say certification ceremony, not graduation, for quite a number of reasons. And coincidentally, I haven't been part of the past two. With the first one, I was traveling overseas. The second one, as you know, it was not a formal ceremony. And this is the third one. And I'm really happy to be in the third one because really I can highlight the challenges that were faced in the past, and I can also foresee what we anticipate for the future. Because remember, there is a concept behind what is happening. And the challenge we face is that when you bring people, people come and go in programs. You know, you have this cohort, you have the next cohort, you have the other cohort, and they are all different animals, not animals in inverted commas. You know, because they behave in different ways, and I've seen all that happening. In the beginning of the program, my department was providing all the secretariat for the whole program. In terms of the meetings, I would provide the secretary to take the minutes, and I would attend all those. And I must thank Prof. Sebastiani. We became very good friends over years. We fight sometimes, but it's good fights. You know, when friends fight, you know, they fight for a principle, and they fight for a good outcome. And I must also thank Prof. Dix. You know, he has been a custodian of this process, representing the VUT side. And I welcome my colleague here, Mr. Langa, you know, for all this. You know, when we started, you know, this program is called French South Africa Schneider Electric Education Training Center, whatever you may call it. But I want to emphasize on the first two. On the first three, it's French, South Africa, and Schneider. You know, if I can show you the agreement on this program, the first one, it was signed by the Minister of Education in South Africa, for South Africa. It was signed by the French Minister of Education. It was signed also by the French. And of course, VUT, as the partner, will drive the process moving forward. And I would be surprised if students don't see that impact. This is a great impact. I wish I was part of a program such as this one, where it involves the superpowers. South Africa have got 55 million people. It's highly respected on the continent. France is one of the leading countries in Europe. Schneider, everywhere I go, I've been to almost all the countries in the world. With my activities at VUT and where I worked before, long before I joined VUT. I've been traveling all the time. You will see Schneider somewhere. So this is a huge program. I hope you have taken time to appreciate your involvement in this. And I'm happy to see the parents here. Sometimes we have children, when they go somewhere, we don't know what the hell are they doing there. But at least you have seen that your children, your sons and daughters, have accumulated something in life. The two colleagues that I've mentioned have been holding this for all this time. This is now the 6th year that we have signed the agreement for this process. And really, it hasn't been a smooth ride. Those who have traveled, and all the students who are here, I'm happy because they traveled to France. You know, when you fly somewhere, you get the captain saying, fasten your seatbelts because we're going to face some turbulences moving forward. We had those in this program. Of course, when a baby is born, the first 5 years, you might understand, is a troublesome baby. You must watch over it all the time. Because if you don't do that, you might not have a baby tomorrow. It was the same thing here. But what I want to say is that the people whom we bring to the program as students sometimes contribute to those turbulences. This is for the future of the country. When we conceptualized and worked on the process, we wanted to widen the participation in higher education, because widening participation in higher education is a challenge, not only in South Africa, because the limitation to get into the mainstream is your performance at high school. And your performance at high school really is determined by quite a number of factors. Sometimes you don't know anything beyond this high school, so why should you bother? Sometimes other factors, influence your performance in your high school. But all what I'm trying to say is this: there's a lot of work that has gone into this, and a lot of money too. If you have been to another universities, you could see they don't have the type of equipment we have there. And the beauty of it is because Schneider customized it to be part of that process there. And no, not many students have had that privilege. We had colleagues whom we started this whole process. Some of them are not here, like Mark Johnson. We have done a lot of work putting things together. Professor De Beer, who moved to Northwest, the program used to report to him. Professor Lowe was a DVC academic and researcher at the time. He's no longer here. From Schneider's side, the president at the time was Carl Kleinans, trying to get to that name. I remember during the launch, he said, As a South African, I've seen how the electrical sector is suffering because there is no skill that is taking the process forward. And I remember even the ambassador at the time, the gentleman, I think is Jacques Labouche, yeah. He said France is behind this whole process. And they would like to see the impact somewhere, somehow. I would love to see the tracer study maybe next year or the year after, the results of the tracer study to see what has happened. Primarily, this program is meant to capacitate the people who come into the program to be self-employed. I mean, it would be sad to see someone who has gone through an electrical training who can't fix a problem in the house. We have problems in our households every day. So if you haven't started to use your screwdriver and your testers to fix few things, then we have failed in this program. Because this program is twofold. The first part is that you should be able to start making money with the knowledge that you have. That's why you're given that state-of-art equipment, to be exposed to those processes. And the second part is that when you want to study further, places like VUT are there, they must create an articulation process in terms of your learning pathway. So even if you come to VUT, I hope you have started solving problems at home. I won't ask the parents though. Some of them might have said that we have seen our globes and things not functioning while my son has been studying this. It will be shame unto you if you can't do that. It will be really shame. A student who goes through a process of being empowered to become a mechanic, no car stands in front of him without opening up and checking. And I'm told that countries like Germany, I go to Germany almost 2 or 3 times a year because we have a lot of collaborations there. That what made Germany one of the leading economies in Europe is because of their type of education that they offer to the young people. That they give them practical skills first, and secondly, they give them all the theory. There's a recent study that has been undertaken by the British Council about the capabilities of university graduates. The interesting part about this is that South Africa is part of the study, Ghana is part of that study, Kenya is part of that study, and Nigeria is part of that study. South Africa, amongst the whole lot of those countries, is one country that feeds students with a lot of theory. And that study was conducted between employers, students, and universities. University of the Free State was leading from the South African side. University College London was a leader overall. The challenge that we are facing in South Africa, we are producing theorists, even in the field of practical application. And this, if you read the study, it says South African graduates cannot apply what they learn. So learning never took place in one way or the other because the learner didn't want to learn. That's all what it means. So we hope really that when we do the impact, assess the impact of this program, maybe next year, we will see the level of impact. Remember the first outcome and the first goal that we wanted to see out of this was that the students who are taken into the program are able to apply what they learn and earn something out of it. So if it's not happening, really, we're failing on our primary objective. Secondary objective is that they should articulate into what the so-called mainstream, because there's nothing that is not mainstream in any process. The so-called mainstream, because if you want to be a university graduate, of course you want to have the right grades to get into the university and all that, but that doesn't mean much. The paper that you hold doesn't mean anything unless you are able to apply what you have learned. You will be shocked that a South African graduate from a university. I won't highlight, the areas of study because I might talk about yours and you will feel a little bit offended. It takes sometimes 3 to 4 years to find a job. It's because students forget what they come to do in a university. I won't repeat what Professor Ndege said, and of course the program director have highlighted on that. You don't come to university to burn what the university have worked hard to have. You don't come to university to destabilize the process. You don't come to university to challenge the management that made you sit on those chairs. I mean, that approach will lead you to nowhere. Because our engagement in the process of development have certain roles to be fulfilled. But the biggest challenge we're facing in South Africa is that students are challenging those who are there to shape and mold their minds. The function of a university is to shape the young minds. We come from that process. That's why we could travel all over the world now. That's why we could speak everywhere. That's why we could be respected everywhere. That's why we have the capacity to bring the people you have here. And if you look on this board here, really you can see this is not something that you wake up and do the next day. It takes a lot of effort. And those people are molded by those who have been there before. And you are fortunate that you are part of this process. We're looking forward to see you in the next few years. Not in terms of your studies at VUT, because that's a minor process in the journey. In terms of the impact that you do to your home, to your community, and to this country. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Thank you, Mr. Jack. Can I ask you to give me a round of applause again? Thank you. You've heard about the background. I'm sure that you've learned something. So my take is the future is quite big. I must say, Mr. Jack, that, well, I'm repeating myself. I asked one of the students, or two of them, or three of them, to do the sequence start. And they're doing it with 3 motors. They would start the first motor, the second motor, the third motor, and then they would switch off the last motor and the 2 second last motors. So I said, no, I don't want it to be done like that. I want you to just start the first motor, the second motor, the third motor, and switch off the last motor, the second last motor, and the first motor. Very quickly, it was done. So I'm trying to say, Bazali, your children have indeed been equipped. You need to be proud of them. You need to be proud of them. My next speaker will be Mrs. Zanel Dalglish, who will give an overview in terms of access to energy in South Africa. Mrs. Dalglish.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. So I'm going to need a hand here. I'm not too sure where to find. So while we let the technical guru sort out something on the screen for us, just give us one moment. Thank you very much. Okay, great. As I've been introduced, my name is Zanel Dalglish. I'm the Head of Sustainable Development and Electricians at Schneider Electric in South Africa. So I have a privilege today to share with you a little bit more about Schneider Electric, as well as what we do in our Access to Energy program. So I've taken advantage of the opportunity to share with you a little bit broader than just access to energy, but rather to share with you our approach to sustainable development for Southern Africa. So many of you here might have heard the name Schneider Electric for the first time today. I believe that is possible. So let me give you a quick view of who we are. We are a French company based in South Africa since 1836. We are a 26 billion euro organization. 5% of revenues get allocated to R&D. We currently have about 160,000 employees in the world, quite a lot of people as you can see, and 30% of our employees are women, as we have a very proud approach to empowering women within our organization. We've got 4 main business units that make up our organization. The first one is the partner or buildings business unit. Secondly, infrastructure that focuses on medium voltage kind of utilities organizations. Industry business, and then lastly, IT. So many different things that we found within this building today could be done by Schneider Electric. You just have to look closely. So in terms of our key areas for sustainable development, there are 3 of them. The very first one is looking at a strategy in terms of our impact on the planet. What is our carbon footprint, setting out annual reports, working with the Schneider Foundation in France, and making sure that we align to corporate social responsibility in terms of South African legislation. Secondly is access to energy, and that is specifically where this program fits into our strategy. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit more. We are very proud to show you, as you can see today, this is not something that we are doing by the way. This is part of our strategy, and it's a second core part of our 3-part strategy. And then third, but not least, is philanthropy, making sure that we make impact in those communities that need it the most. So I decided to give you a quick view of our dashboard for 2015, what we achieved. And I think specific reference to yourselves, if we look at access to energy, we provided access to energy to 54,000 people in South Africa last year. 14,000 households were reached. Education, we achieved training of 1,930 people, which includes the students that we have in front of us, entrepreneurs that were trained, community training that we've done on electrical awareness for safety. We've collaborated with 4 new universities over and above the VUT, which means we now have 5 partnerships. And then we also have completed 4 Schneider Electric teachers' missions, where we have brought French professors from around the world from Schneider Electric to South Africa to come and teach students such as yourselves. So a little bit closer to home, here in Orange Farm, Isiboniso is a school that had a great need for a new facility. As you can see in this picture, we've established 2 huge containers with a section in the middle for children to be taught. This facility was established because previously there was a small 30 square meter facility where they were housing all of the children. And while this picture shows you that we've set up a creche, there's also lots of different facilities that were set up in the creche for the students. So not only do we work with the students at the EFSA Center, but we also have an interest in Orange Farm and within the Vaal Triangle to uplift the community. So we've set up a creche there. These children now are able to receive education in an area with lighting. They now have chairs and tables. They've got special charts that can teach them basics like mathematics. If we want them to come into your training center in the future, we need to start at grassroots with them. And these little children were put into a small, very dirty, very dark little building, most of them between the age of 1 and 5. They did not have any caregivers taking care of them. We now have teachers that take care of them. And I believe that we will have a success story one day for one of these little kids to sit in front of us here for a certification ceremony, again, from the Vaal Triangle, from Orange Farm. And I think it's a really great story to tell. So quickly on to access to education partnerships. So I think as my colleagues have shared before, let me just quickly glance over this. The French-South African Schneider Electric Education Centre is a tripartite agreement. It's between Schneider Electric, which includes Schneider Electric South Africa, Schneider Electric France, and very importantly, the Schneider Electric Foundation in France that provides the funding for us to invest into this facility. Secondly, and one of our most important components of the success of this partnership is the contribution from the French Ministry of Education through the French government. And I believe that this is a very differentiating factor compared to most other similar programs that you would find in South Africa, is that we now have expertise from the French government and the French Ministry of Education to teach us, to show us. As Wiseman has said, many of our approaches are very theoretical, and the French Ministry of Education have very advanced techniques of teaching students and teachers. And this is a huge competitive advantage for this training center, that we have that expertise available to us 24/7 within the EFSASEC. And then last but not least, we also have the Vaal University of Technology, as you know, which is our third partner. And without having an institution that has the governance for education, it would not be possible for us to train students. And therefore, all three of these partners play a very vital role in terms of the success of training all of you that are sitting here today. So while I'm a dreamer, I'd like to show you what we are dreaming of doing in the next 4 years. So we have signed 4 new partnerships in South Africa with 4 universities. I will quickly share the names with you. So first of all, we had the Vaal University of Technology, but in 2015, we've also signed a partnership with the University of Johannesburg, with Sedibeng. We also have College of Cape Town and Cape Town University of Technology. So as you can see, this is the start of something really great, and we continue to dream. As you can see on the board, this year we are signing more partnerships within South Africa, which will be disclosed at a later time. We are also looking at a partnership in Mozambique currently. For 2017, next year, we have our work cut out for us once again, continuing in South Africa, but going to Zambia as well as Lesotho. And in 2018, again, we'll keep focusing on South Africa, but we will also branch out into Zimbabwe and Malawi. So as you can see, the students that are sitting here today are part of something really great and something really big. It might start here, but it definitely doesn't end here. We will have a network of different training centers with our partnership with the French Ministry of Education and the French Embassy to ensure that we create access to education in Southern Africa, all along the model and the basis of what we have done here at the VUT. So I think the VUT Training Center is, for me, a center of best practice for many different reasons. First of all, the very first reason is it's a best practice showing a partnership between local educational institutions such as the VUT, a multinational corporate such as Schneider Electric, and then looking at global education partners such as the French Ministry of Education. I have said this before, but this is really something that is hard to find, and therefore it is something that we are proud of in the center, and it's a true best practice. Secondly, it is a best practice in terms of the facility. I know many of you might not have seen the facility, but I can assure you, you will look very long and hard before you find a facility such as this in South Africa. The housekeeping is immaculate. The equipment in there is great Schneider Electric equipment. And if we look at the way in which the training center is managed by Professor Sebastiani, it will safeguard this investment. And therefore, I really think that in a small little town called Vanderbijlpark in the center of Gauteng, the rest of the world will zoom in on us, and it will be hard to find another facility of this quality, I would say, in many different countries of the world. And then last but not least, I think another great best practice in the center is really looking at the fact that with the VUT, the French Ministry of Education and Schneider Electric, we are now able to execute the dream that the DHET has for linking TVET colleges with universities, creating an entrance into mainstream education, as my colleagues have mentioned. The purpose that we have here is not to recreate education, but it's to create new pathways for education. So if you remember, the Schneider Electric approach that we have is creating access to energy, giving people electricity so that they have access, but this also through access to education. And for us, this is a really core part of our strategy, and we believe that partnerships such as these and the EFSASEC realize this dream for us as well. So, while I have said I'm a dreamer, I would love to see a vision from Schneider Electric for the Vaal University of Technology is to see that by 2020, we would love to see 300 to 400 students a year get trained through this training center. That doesn't mean full-time students. It even means bringing in people from Prof. Ndege's department, bringing them through different courses, using this world-class facility to upskill the South African citizens that we have that often fail to get that practical component, which they can get hands-on within this facility. So that brings me to a big thank you. And I think there are many thank yous to be made in the room. Let me start off first by saying a very big heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Prof. Sebastiani. I think that if we could all please stand and give him a round of applause. If it wasn't for him, this would not have been possible. Thank you very much, Prof. Sebastiani. I know that Mr. Jack has mentioned many people have come and gone, but I think the one person that has remained from the beginning is Prof. Sebastiani. First of all, a heartfelt thanks from Schneider Electric side for his vision, his leadership, and the management of this world-class facility. Many of the practices within the centre is because of the way he conducts the centre. He's transferred skills to lecturers, the housekeeping and the maintenance and the safekeeping of the facility. Every time I come to visit the centre, which is quite regularly, I keep seeing improvements and advancements. And this is all due to the work of Prof. Sebastiani. He's given life skills to all of you sitting here. I remember some of the first meetings that we had, basic things on how to serve yourself when you go to a catering event, how to arrive early and promptly for meetings. Many, many different life skills that you can thank Prof. Sebastiani for. Those are not things that you might be able to measure in your marks at the end of your certification, but those are skills that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life. Also, the fact that he fought for you to take you to a trip to France to get global exposure. I'm sure when you were standing at the Eiffel Tower, all of you were thinking, wow, this is pretty amazing. I'm coming from Sharpeville Township in the Vaal Triangle, and here I am at one of the most iconic places in the world. I remember when I traveled with a previous class of students, I felt extremely proud for them. It was a great achievement for them to have had that exposure. And I cherish those moments, and I ask you to share that with your families, to inspire them. And once again, all of this was possible due to Prof. Sebastiani and the way that he motivated to make this possible to give you that experience. And I think very importantly, the last thing we need to know is a lot of personal support was provided to these students to ensure their success. We know that it's not easy, and I cannot put myself in your shoes. But today you are sitting here looking so beautifully, ready to succeed in your careers and in your life going forward. And a lot of this is due to personal encouragement from Prof. Sebastiani. We've had some challenges that we didn't anticipate in the centre that prohibit students from attending. And I really believe that Prof. Sebastiani took it as a personal mission to ensure that every student could attend every single class. And we really thank you for that, Prof. Sebastiani. Also from Mr. Hendrik van der Merwe. He's a kind of a newcomer to the program, if I could say, but wow, what a large impact in such a short time frame. Mr. van der Merwe, a great thank you from Schneider Electric for your leadership and execution capability. Mr. Wiseman has said we've gone through ups and downs, and I believe that I stand here today encouraged and positive to see that with the appointment of our new co-director, Mr. Langa, ongoing support from Prof. Sebastiani, having Mr. van der Merwe on the program now as well, I think we're going to reach great heights here. I do not want to forget to thank also Prof. Dix for all of his support ongoing on the program, because he also spent some long time and hours on this. Thank you for your time and effort on this. So I think today is really an exciting day for me to be able to stand here to say how proud we are of the centre, for all the people that have contributed, and how proud I am of the students that are sitting here today. Because if it wasn't for you, there would be no training centre, because we wouldn't have students to train. So, ladies and gents, your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. And this is a statement that comes from Mahatma Gandhi. I would like to congratulate you for your perseverance. We really are proud of all of you. But I also want to encourage you to make this the start today and not tomorrow. That this has been a program that has taken you to start the rest of your life today. We've seen many students that have succeeded. I've seen many of you grown. And I would like to encourage you to say, let me take this as the first little tool in my toolbox to become an engineer one day. You know, I work with many electricians and many engineers, and they've got a toolbox full of different stuff. So this is not the end of it. This is really much the start of it. So create that little toolbox, put the certificate in there as a start to it. And I encourage you to really take the world as your oyster. You've seen what the world looks like out there, outside of the borders of South Africa. Share that with your family, share that with your friend. Be inspired to be great. I think all of you can be great, and through programs such as these, I believe that it provides opportunities to students that previously might not have received those opportunities, and we will continue to bring more students in here because we believe in you guys and we want to see you succeed. So thank you for allowing me to speak. Well done to the students. Make the best of your future. Grab it with both hands, and we will always be available at Schneider Electric to share some advice and support. And once again, thank you to everybody involved that has made this day possible. Thank you.
Wow. I wasn't hearing the applause because I was walking. Can we do it again? I just think it was an excellent speech that you've made, Mrs. Dalglish. We really appreciate. I can almost feel the vibe. She said this is a start. And I think, I want to say this is a very good start for you guys. I know we started a bit late, but we will try our best. My next speaker will be Mrs. Melanie Garcia-Villa, who will give a perspective of the program as an international partner. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, bonjour. All protocol observed. As Kofi Annan said, cooperation and partnership are the only route that offer any hope of a better future for all humanity. As a member of the French Embassy, I'm really delighted to be there this morning and to attend at this certificate ceremony. Indeed, this day is a result of the efforts of dedicated teachers and mindful students. This is also a great reward for the cooperation between South African and French governments. The visit of South African head of state at his French counterpart this winter is the reaffirmation of the strong friendship and partnership between the two countries. The cooperation in the field of science, technology, and innovation covers research, higher education, and training actions. To mention just a few facts. First of all, France is in the top 5 of South Africa in terms of international scientific co-publication. Then, the students and staff mobility between South Africa and France is increasing. In this regard, I should mention that the French embassy has a scholarship program for students. So if you're interested, maybe we can keep it in. Yeah. Another significant point and what interests us today is the implementation of French South African centers for training and research. The centers are allowing our countries to join their efforts around topics of common interest, as ICT, industrial production, renewable energy, food science, marine science, and so on. In one end, French South African centers are empowering people with valuable training and professional networking. In another end, they are increasing knowledge and creating research projects and progress by supporting the joint work of both teams of both countries. They are also providing state-of-the-art facilities. Today, the French government is very pleased with the success of the French South African Center and is willing to their continuation and enhancement. Congratulations, guys, for your certificate. I wish you all the best, and thank you all for your attention.
I suppose one of the things I've started working on is French. Bonjour. I will add that next time if I'm asked to be a program director, Machironi, Sanbonani, Ninjani, bonjour. Is it Je vous remercie? You guys don't know what I said. It just means thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful speech. And I believe that was the last straw of impact we're making to our students as they go out. Remember, you are ambassadors. One of the definitions of the word alumni is that it means you are connected to us. Regardless of where you go, you will always be connected to us. So we already have a network because of you guys. We're very proud of you. Now we are going to go to, if you can assist me, somebody please, with a clip that we had planned. We just want for 5 minutes or 4 minutes to play a clip which can show something about the center, after which we will then issue the certificates to the students.
I'm learning towards to have a bright future.
I have the power to change the future.
A good round of applause again, please. I wish, how I so wish I was in the Nelson Mandela class. At this point now, we are going to be handing out the certificates over there. So the students will walk out as I call their names, proceed like that to greet Professor Ndege, who will be handing out the certificates. And please greet everybody else. And I don't know where you will clap hands, but when you see an appropriate occasion to clap hands, clap hands. Is that in order? Okay. So I'm going to call the names. I'll ask Grace to proceed to that side, please. Thank you. So please pose for a photo with Professor Ndege. Each student, obviously, once you've taken your certificate, find a way of posing for a photo. And smile, please. You know, this, I believe, will go in the report or the newspapers, for that matter. Right. Is everything in order? Can I begin? Right. Dlavana N. Dubula L.T. Martins C. Mahabe M. L.M. Mazibugo N. Molakeng M.M. Molele T.P. Monyai M.K. Motawung N. Nembambuala V.V. Polo T.I. Silimela P. Brothers and sisters? It's another Silimela. Silimela T. Lastly, Skosana P.T. Thank you. Let us give all of them again a round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. We're almost done. Wasn't that lovely? It was. I think if I could lay my hands on the video, I would, you know, and put it in my shelf. Well, the last speaker will do acknowledgements, and I will ask the operations manager, Mr. Heinrich van der Merwe. Thank you, sir.
Well, I think by now everybody really feels acknowledged. I think that my task is an easy one today to acknowledge the input of the day, the input that we've seen over the time. I think the first thing that I would like to mention is that, and I think to some extent it has been mentioned, but I would like to reiterate it. I think the students have come to the Schneider Initiative, to the Schneider Education Center to get education, but they got more than that. They've got an upbringing. They, you know, in Afrikaans, we've got a nice word, and I don't know how to translate that directly into any language. It's called the opvoeding. I think that Prof. Sebastiani have grabbed the team, he got involved, and maybe some of them don't realize it today, but I think they will realize it in the future, that they are equipped with more than just being people with education, people with a real opvoeding, people that's going to make not only a difference in the workplace, but a difference in the community. And I think we need to acknowledge Prof. Sebastiani's tenacity, because, you know, to give somebody a proper opvoeding is sometimes not easy. You can't be soft-handed all the time. You can't say, guys, can you please do this? Can you please do that? Sometimes you must say, now you do it, like your mother, because that's how you give a upbringing. You're adamant that there's a right way to do things, and if we want to do things right, let's do it the right way. I'm in with this program, you know, a little bit more than a year now, and when I inherited the responsibility as project manager, I must tell you, there was a couple of holes in this ship, and I couldn't put my fingers in all the holes. So I realized very quickly that I need a team. I need people to assist. And I mean, Prof. Dix, who is the outgoing director today, have played a major role in assisting and making sure that I've got the full information. Because people, you can't make decisions if you don't have the full information. You can't take decisions if you don't know what is the real responsibility of the VUT. I think over the years, the VUT have made several promises to the program that we didn't fully, you know, implement. But fortunately, you know, a short pencil have a much longer memory than a human being. And with the aid of Weizmann, we've studied these documents, and we've realized, you know, we did promise furniture, we did promise this, we did promise that. And slowly but surely we are in a process of catching up, making sure that we are bringing those things to the party. I think Prof. Ndeje have played a major role in when we called on his department to say, listen, you know, we don't want a part-timer. We don't want somebody that's already busy with a full-time job to give a attention to this. And by no means I want to belittle the work that Prof. Dix has done, but we need somebody to take the responsibility from the VUT side full time. And I think our program manager, Dr. Hendrik Lange, was an excellent choice. He can pronounce the names properly. He's a good balanced person that understands industry, but also understand that there's more to life than just to go to work every day. We also need to feed the soul. And I believe that good balance we are striking. And I believe that he and Prof. Sebastiani is going to form an excellent team to take the Schneider initiative to the next level. Zanele, thank you for the words that you said about me. I've got only one philosophy, and that's to stick around and make sure that things happen. You know, and I'm tenacious. I will make sure that we got the outcome. I must say thank you very much to my back office. And you can see that they are making a difference. I've got Nkosan Masibuki sitting there. He's taking responsibility to make sure that finances is in order, that these guys don't spend what they don't have. So, you know, it's a business, and we must make sure that we run it like a business. We've got Claudia and Chwaki, our HR people, that make sure that we are going to look after the HR element, and we are busy moving in huge strides as far as that is concerned. We've got our PR team assisting us, Manani that is working very closely on the PR side with Prof. Alex Sebastiani, so that we can start getting a proper website in place, that we, you know, the worst thing that you can do is to wink for a girl in the darkness, and she can't see you trying to get attention. You know, and we've been winking in the darkness for too long now. I want to start winking in daylight, so that that there's some purchase, so that we can make things happen. And that is definitely going to happen. We are going to take Schneider places, and I think Schneider is going to be surprised what the VUT can achieve when they set their mind to do that. We've got an excellent team. It's not me that's going to do it alone. We've got Weissman, we've got Prof. Maurice, and I see that my good colleagues here from corporate marketing is sitting ready to say, Heinrich, just tell us where we can support, and we're going to get the necessary support to make sure that this endeavor is properly visible. And guys, you are not going to get away from me. I mean, you are alumni now. I want you guys to contact my office. If there's anybody that is not engaged already for experiential training, Claudia is waiting for you guys to assist you to get employed or enrolled or whatever we call it somewhere, so that you can get that experience, so that you can go in time for your Red Seal, your artisan testing and all those type of things. But from Schneider's side, we would like to see that we are creating facilities here at the Science Park as well, to support the facilities there. And remember, the Science Park is your Science Park as well. We would like you guys to come and see what we are offering. There is programs that is going to augment your training. We are looking at a CAD course here for, what do you call it, electric circuit designs and all those type of things. Accredited course that's going to be available soon. We've got the lab is in place, so you guys can come here, enroll in a thing like that, in a course like that, and improve your qualifications even further. I know Prof. Ndeje have held out the olive branch to everybody that wants to articulate where it's possible. Obviously, there's rules when it comes to articulation. You must have the right matric results and qualifications and so forth. But there's opportunities. And I think you guys must grab these opportunities with both hands. I would also like to acknowledge the VC. Our VC have always been the custodian of this program, and she's kicked butt from time to make sure that we get in line and do the things right. and then the DVC, Prof. Zimbo in his absence, he's also been up to the task and is supporting this endeavor fully. So we've got a proper governance and management structure in place now, and I think that we would like to boost and boast this whole program. We are going to start the process to take the next cohort of students in, and people, we are going to be very picky. I mean, we've got 240,000 people unemployed over the road, of which only 1 in 20 have matric. And this program can take maximum, how many? 25, 30 people. So, I mean, although there's previous disadvantaged people, but we're going to take the best of the previous disadvantaged people, bring them on this program, and this program is probably going to flower in future, because I believe that there's so many bright people out there that we can engage in this program that's going to make a huge difference in the future of this community and this country. Thank you very much.
Let's give Ms. van der Merwe a round of applause one more time. Thank you. We've basically come to an end of our official program. But before we finally close, I would like to propose that we get some photos taken in this manner. The first photo will be taken of the speakers. The second photo will be taken of the speakers and Prof. Sebastiani and myself. I hope I'm right. The third photo will be taken of the speakers, Prof. Sebastian, myself, and the delegates, the executive directors, Prof. Dix, the delegates. What number is this now? 4. How do you say it in French? Katom. Okay, I've learned something. And how do you say number katom? Numero. Numeric katom. Oh, I'm fluent, eh? Number 4 will be the rest of the people I mentioned with the students. After which we will then be ushered for refreshments. Is that in order? Thank you. So shall we do that? Maybe we can be seated while that happens, I guess. I don't know. Let's go for it. The first photo with just the speakers. Yeah, I think across I don't know which is best. Somebody must switch off here. Somebody said it reflects badly. What is this? How do you say it in French? French. Okay. Okay. Lovely. Obviously, the guys that take photos must just take a couple of the photo so that we have the best. Thank you. Our staff will be there in the second last. Okay. You will carry on. Yeah, so we will flank that. Okay. Now it's myself. Now. sorry, before that, I really apologize. Can I ask the staff also to just come pitch here, please? Then we do the students, and then we're done. Quickly, please.
I'm Claudia on the back.